Welcome back to BoardGameGeek's continuing coverage from the SPIEL 2019. And this time I'm joined by Ryan from Alderac.
Yes.
And we're going to eke out some information about Ecos.
Oh.
please take it away.
Okay. This is Ecos. This is a new game by John DeClaire. It is available here for pre-release at Essen.
Cool. And
it'll be available in your local game store at the end of October. I believe the 24th of October is the release date.
Excellent.
Ecos is a 2 to 6 player game about creating the world. So you are a force of nature. You could be evolution and geology or the deity of your choice. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
And we're going to basically build a world, fill that world with creatures, and then we're going to compete to see who can score the most victory points before the game is over. And the core game mechanic in Ecos is bingo. We have this bag full of tiles, and on each player's turn, they start drawing tiles out of this bag. Each time they draw a tile, it generates a resource of a certain type.
Okay.
And then the players are asked to do one of two things. They can either take one of their power tokens and place the token on one of the cards that they have played in front of them.
Okay.
And if they fill up all of the power token slots, they say Ecos. And then it's their turn to use the ability of that card to do something in the game.
Will they have multiple cards going on at a time that they're choosing which one to put it on?
Yes, that's right. So this little thing here, the player dial, is the other option. And you can either place a power token on one of your cards, or you can spin this dial. And as the dial spins, it does a variety of things. It generates more power tokens, or it allows you to draw cards from the draw deck, or it allows you to play a card from your hand onto the table in front of you, and then it can begin accumulating power tokens.
Okay.
So the core strategy in this game is to look at your starting cards and think about how those cards will score victory points. And then use the cards in your hand to build the world in such a way that at some point you are able to play a card when it is complete with all of its power points and score a whole lot of points all at once. The coolest thing that happens in this game is when you can chain cards together to generate a big scoring turn. This game has lots of come from behind potential. You might feel like you're in last place, but what you're really doing is you're manipulating the game state, chasing that huge turn.
And then one turn, boom, boom, boom.
Yes, exactly. So for example, I've got the board set up here. This is a very simple setup with some water and some land, mountains and jungles, and a few creatures. There's a gorilla here, a shark, and a couple of fish. And I have this card set up, which is almost full. So if it was your turn and you were drawing from the bag, you would be called the Harbinger.
Okay.
If you drew this little deer sign, I would get to take one of my power cubes and complete this card, and I would say Ecos. And then I get to do the things that are on this card. So it says, the first thing it says to do is drop a shark. So if I had a shark, if this was an empty space, I could go into these holders which have all the animals. I could put a shark in the game.
Okay.
And then it says move the shark up to 4 spaces and remove any animals in those spaces. So I would move it into these fish spaces.
He's a hungry shark.
Right, and then I gain 4 victory points per animal removed. It's family friendly. You can decide how red in tooth and claw nature is in your world, but removed. And then I would move my score track along the score track. And the way the game ends is, in this bag there are 2 wild elemental chips, and when the Harbinger, when the drawer, draws one of those wild cards, one of those wild chips out, that is the end of that player's turn.
Okay.
If that occurs after any player has gone over 80 points, the game may end. If there is a tie for first place, the bag passes to the next player and they have an incomplete turn.
Okay.
So you could be the first person to exceed 80 and lose the game.
Yeah.
Somebody who was behind could have that wahoo turn in the kind of bonus round because somebody was tied with you and catch up and win the game.
So the players kind of dictate when the game ends based on how much you press your luck?
Yes. Yes,
nice.
yeah. And like I said, there's a lot of come from behind, so you really have to be paying attention to what your opponents are doing. There's cards in the game that let you add and remove tiles, add and remove animals, add and remove landscape. Well, if you see somebody that is doing something that just appears to be nonsense, they're probably setting up for some wahoo crazy turn. And then that's when you start looking at your cards and thinking, okay, well, if that guy's got a shark card and he's going to start eating a bunch of animals, maybe I need to like split this water up. Maybe I need to play a card that would allow me to remove a water tile and replace it with a land tile. And now all of a sudden there's no place for that shark to go. So there's a little bit of take that, but it's more like cleverly adjusting the world, not directly affecting your opponent.
Yeah, it's not, oh, I've just ruined your whole strategy.
Yes,
I've given you something else to work with.
Yes, exactly.
Nice.
And you know, the game is is really triggered by the cards that are drawn out of this bag. And so one of the fun things that happens is you will have the perfect card set up with the perfect game state, and you're just praying, please draw deer, 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 deer. And you're like chanting for the Harbinger to pull that one tile, and they're pulling rock and sun and water. And you're just like, oh, I will win the game if you just draw the deer. So the tension just gets, it's like craps. Like everybody at the table is just cheering for a tile to be drawn. And then every time a tile comes out, everybody says, okay, do I want to power up a card? Do I want to twist my dial? Like there's so many options you can take regardless of what comes out of that bag. But boy, when you want that deer, you want that deer. Yeah.
And you mentioned that this is right around the corner, coming out late October.
Yes, that's right.
And what's the price point going to be?
It's going to be $49.99 USD, and it's €54.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yes.
Cool.
All right, so that's Ecos coming out from Alderac. And if you'd like to find out more information about it, be sure to check out its Board Game Geek page or the Alderac website. And in the meantime, Ryan, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.